Hey everyone. So I know I don't want to say a bit late, but late with this review. So this is The Circle season 7. And I'll be doing episodes 5, 6, and 7. Um, in this video particularly. The next video will be 8, 9, and 10. And after that, I think I'm gonna wait until Wednesday, when the finale drops, to do episodes 11, 12, and 13. Because I think so I think that's what I'll do because, yeah, I got back from vacation, or I went on vacation, and then, I got back from vacation and I was like, yeah. So I know I'm a little bit late with this. But anyway, so on to episode 5. So obviously, episode 5 is called Circle Wedding Crashers. So we pick up where we left off with Deb, aka Rachel, and Madeline having found out that they will have to swap profiles. Um, and so Deb starts a private chat with Madeline after the swap. So Madeline is like, we need to make sure our alliances don't know shit about what's going on, and make sure that we know everything that we said to our alliances, because if we don't, we're gonna end up blowing our cover. So they, tell each other about their alliances and, all the stuff. And I'm like, by the end of it, I was worried that Rachel, aka Deb, was gonna blow freaking everything, because Deb is posing as like a 26, like a young woman, and she don't know what the fuck OnlyFans is. Like, she don't even know what that is. Like, if that wasn't the first clue that um Deb or Rachel is not some 20 something year old young woman, and that at the very least Rachel is like a middle-aged woman, then I don't know what to tell you, because I don't know, because I've only watched up to episode 7, or the end of episode 7, so I don't know if Rachel ends up ever getting blocked um, in the subsequent episodes or what. So, I mean, I don't know, but if that wasn't quite evident by that, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know what to tell you, because between the other, because that one game, I can't remember, it was where they had to the Cray Pop game, where they um the first question was, who named the child this weird ass name, and it was Elon Musk, and she didn't know it. I was like, I didn't know it because I don't follow Elon Musk like that. But at the very least, I could deduce that maybe it was possibly him, because I figured it wasn't, like I said, Gwyneth Paltrow. And I didn't know for sure before looking it up that Jared Leto never even had kids, but I was fairly certain it wouldn't have been him. So, but process of elimination, I figured it was Elon Musk. But, anyway, I mean, And it's stuff like like the WWE question, WWE and UFC question as well was just like, because the only reason why Deb even knew was because of her son. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to tell y'all. I mean, she was smart enough to realize that she had to answer the question wrong when it was about that Madonna question, I believe. So it was just, but either way, I'm just like, that should have been an inkling to somebody, and I would be surprised if anybody, if Madeline doesn't question that at all. Um, anyway, moving forward. Um, so Madeline as Rachel starts a private chat with Kevin. Um, and so Rachel, in quotation marks, apologizes for how she acted in the chat the day before. Um, he asks why she was so harsh during the chat. She's like, well, I was just standing up for my girls and I still misjudged. And so he's like, oh, I misjudged you too. And seemed to start some sort of, I guess, maybe friendship. I don't even want to say that. That's putting a little bit too much faith in that word at the moment for them. So, yeah. Jadeja then invites Garrett to a private chat. He opens about his fitness journey, and then she also opens up about being homeless and being abused. Um, and he says that although nothing he has been through can compare, you know, he will always be there for her, and she's going to be there for him. Beautiful little moment. So, not gonna be mad at it. This is what I'm talking about. Like, if the only thing you can rely on is to solely, at least in this game, is to solely flirt, and that is it, that to me is not a strategy, because you're supposed to. I mean, maybe if that wasn't the only thing some of these people did, maybe I wouldn't care. But um, that seemed to be the, like, literally only thing people seem to want to be doing. And we're like 5 episodes deep in this point, and this is the first time that I remember actually actively seeing Jadeja connect with someone outside of the whole lustful flirting shit. and and that was my whole gripe, was that it took you, and this is like, in the because at the end of episode 7, we find out that 2 days have passed. So I don't even remember how many days have passed so far, as it is in the circle. So I would say a good week, maybe like 6 to 7 days at best have passed, and this is the first time I'm seeing Jadeja connect with somebody meaningfully without resorting to just flirting. I'm not saying that flirting is a bad thing to maybe do with some people, but to me, if that's the only thing that you can rely on to get you through this game, that is just, to me, weird. And I'm gonna look at you weird, look at you sideways, because I don't know. It's just so I was glad to see this little moment, albeit a little bit late in my opinion, but I'm glad to see it. Okay, so everyone in the circle then gets an alert where they will play a game called Make Out, Marry, or Murder, where each player has to pick 3 players. One of each will be in one of the categories: making out, murder, marrying, or murdering. Um, and the circle will reveal them, one by one and all that. So first up is Garrett, who picks Gianna to make out with, Shadeja to marry, and Madeline to murder. Uh, Second is Darian, who picks Gianna to make out, Shadeja to marry, and Rachel to murder. Rachel is third, who picks Darian to make out with, Garrett to marry, and Andy to kill. Fourth is Jadeja, who picks Gianna to make out with, uh, Darian to marry, and Madeline to murder. Rachel is next, who picks Gianna as the person to make out with, and Andy to marry, and Garrett to murder. Andy is next, who picks Madeline to marry, or Madeline to make out with, sorry, Kevin to marry, and Rachel to murder. Gianna's next, picks Andy to make out with, Darian to marry, and Kevin to murder. And last is Kevin, who picks Madeline to make out with, Rachel to marry, and Gianna to murder. Um, so, after the whole game, Madeline, aka Rachel, aka Deb, starts a chat with Andy. So she's like, "Well, what the fuck is up? Why did you pick Kevin to marry?" And Andy is like, "Well, I just wanted to show Kevin some love." And Madeline's like, "Well, was there anything going on with Gianna? Because you picked her to make out with?" Um, or Gianna picked you to make out with, sorry. And Andy's like, "Well, no, nothing's going on between the two of us." So they sort of supposedly squashed their beef. Um, and Rachel, aka Deb, says, as Madeline, Kevin tried to slide up in my DMs in the VIP party. Okay, I'm still highly annoyed that Gianna slash the twins and Rachel slash Deb are still on this Kevin is such shit. I will grant you that the fact that he blindsided his, because when him and Gianna were influencers, he had said staunchly, "Look, I am not getting rid of, for sure, um, Savannah." Who was it? He was staunch about three people. I remember that. Um, yeah, because it was he was staunch about not losing Savannah or Andy, and he was staunch about those two. He was staunch about those two, and he was heavily flirting with Savannah for a good portion of the first three episodes, and or at least warming up to that. And I'll grant you that the fact that he got rid of Savannah when he said he was staunch about not losing her was obviously, you know, very shitty, and obviously is shows a lack of sticking by your alliances. The whole he's sus thing has been going on since episode 1, when literally you had nothing to go on to suggest that he was in any way suspicious. If this had started after they had done the blocking, that would be one thing. That would be one thing. But it hasn't. And that's what's tripping me up. That's why I'm not ever going to really like them, either player, because of that. Because it's been going on since well before that blocking, well before. So I can never fully get behind their strong hate for this guy. I mean, yes, I'm looking at him sideways because of his blocking of Savannah, even though he said he was staunch about that. I won't ever not look at him crazy for that. However, I can't not look at them crazy for that. I can't. It seemed way too personal. I don't get it. It's like, what the fuck did he do? There's something on the cutting room floor that we did not see. That is why they're so adamant from the very beginning as to why they don't like him. There has to be, because there's no way, because she has such venom in her voice for this man. And for why? For why? For why? I don't get it. For why? There is only one reason. There has to be something that he said that we are not privy to. That is why you are that adamant that you do not like this man, that you actually hate him. There's no other reason. Because, I mean, everyone else saw him block his alliance, and they don't have nearly as much venom in their voice about him. Except for these two. What the fuck that happened? Because there is no reason for this level of venom in their voice for this man. There's literally no reason for that level of venom. And it's honestly getting on my nerves at this point. It's really getting on my nerves because I'm tired of such. If tones could kill, they would have killed him by now. Just on the tone of their voice, they would have killed him by now. I'm so serious. They would have killed him by now. So I'm just tired of it. At this point, I'm just honestly tired of it, and it's really pissing me off. I'm sorry. I just, because it pretty much like continues, and I'm like, but because Gianna and Rachel keep ping-ponging with the venom in the voice for this man. And it's just like, I get it. He fucked up with the whole blocking of Savannah. I get it. I don't know any sane person who would not feasibly side-eye him for that. But you've been doing this since episode 1. Episode 1, y'all. We all had such disdain and hatred for this man. And for something that's out of left field, if those twins and Deb are watching this video and you would like to clear everything up, reach out to me underneath this video in the comments and I'll have you up. But from what I can see, there is literally no reason why you have such hatred in your voice for this man that I can visibly see. And I want to clear that up because at this point, it's ridiculous. It's honestly ridiculous, and it's getting tiresome. It's like he kicked your dog and drowned it or something. Not saying that he did, obviously, but it's like it sounds like he kicked her puppy and decided to drown it or something. I'm like, what's the beef? Because as far as I can tell, there is none that I can justify this level of hatred in your voice for him. So, anyway, um, Darian then starts a private chat with Gianna. I'm not gonna lie, I tuned out for this. All I can kind of remember is that they were kind of flirting, and I'm like, God, not again. Um. Anyway, so the circle then starts something called the wedding party, where they celebrate the wedding, the supposed weddings from the game earlier. They all get outfits, and then they get a group chat where as Jadeja is trying to get answers out of both Darren and Gianna, um, a new player showed up named Tiara. And if just a kind of little um, just kind of a little thought about Darren and Gianna, they don't really give much of an explanation. Um, like they don't really give much of an explanation. So I don't think they give really anything, to be honest. So anyway, going to episode 6 called Reading Between the Lines. Um, Tiara, who is 28, a makeup artist or makeup influencer, sorry, and from Nashville, is actually played by Antonio, who's 31, and an insurance adjuster, also from Nashville. Tiara is her friend, or his friend, sorry. And he makes up the story that she's a single mom, and all that. And while in the chat, Tiara says that she was adopted and is big on family. Jadeja revealed that she was in a group home and plans on adopting one day. Now, Tiara actually isn't adopted, but Antonio was. The next morning, they get an alert and are told that they will raid each other, and the bottom player will be blocked immediately from the circle. And apparently, according to the host, if either Madeline or Rachel is blocked while impersonating the other's profile, so say Madeline is blocked, Rachel will have to continue playing as Madeline, and the reverse is true. Like if Rachel is blocked, Madeline will have to continue playing as Rachel. And it will be that way until the end of the game, or what I assume is until they end up blocked before the end of the game. So, Madeline is then, realizing that Andy doesn't really like Rachel all that much. And is unsure if she should continue the alliance, especially since she doesn't have much of an alliance with any of the other girls. And she doesn't think that any of the other male players will want to get close or form an alliance with Madeline if Andy is still there. So, I mean, I'm not exactly sure how I feel about. I didn't know how I really felt about that, just on the slim chance that because at this point y'all are like 6, 7, 8 days deep into this, and you hadn't really tried to form much of an alliance with any of the other ladies. The only reason why you are forming any sort of alliance with Rachel is because you have to in order to stay in and be able to go back to your original profile. But if you weren't pretty much forced to do this, I don't think it would have gone over to Rachel to begin with. I don't think so. So I think she would have continued, flirting with Andy, and that was really about it. And you obviously see how what we see in like the rest of the episode or into episode 7 with her. Um, so she starts a private chat with Rachel, and she's like, "Well, I need to break my alliance with Andy." Well, I mean, I understand, the thought process because she eventually explains, I think that Andy is gonna put the bros before put the bros before me anyway, because that's basically what he did in the game. Make out, marry, or murder. And um, so I understand that logic. I mean, now what she did afterwards, after the end of episode 6, I, that was kind of weird and not all the way sound in my opinion, but um, anyway, um, so they invite Gianna to chat, let them in on the plan, and they're like, "Bet, let's get Andy out." Um, um, Kevin then invites Tara to a private chat. Tara asks, how he thinks the ratings will go, and he thinks, since Andy, Madeline, and Darian, and Jadeja are, quote unquote married, they'll rate each other high. And he's like, let's tag team them. Let's try to lower their rankings and all that. And Tier is all in. Another game called Wild Cards comes up where each player will get a total of 10 cards. And then each player will get one other player to assign one card, and that's it. And they will have to choose which card benefits that person. Or best fits that person, sorry. And everything will be anonymous. And so basically, what I remember is that the men, Kevin, Darian, and Andy all get some sort of unfavorable card. I think Andy and Kevin get I can't remember. It was like I remember it was like red looking, and it they were like cutting people off or cutting their lines off or something like that. I think it was something like that, similar to that. And then Darian got like like someone who is sneakily strategic or something like that. Andy then starts a private chat with Darian. And they both agree that they're going to stay loyal to each other. And Heather's talking about how even in her personal life, she feels like no one really considers me or anything like that. And it kind of tugged on my heartstrings a little bit because she was feeling like she wasn't really seen. And I guess I kind of understand because sometimes I feel like some people in my family might not really see me either, and only look at me for what I can do for them, rather than just spending time with me sometimes. So I kind of get it. Madeline then starts a private chat with Tira. Madeline explains the strategy for rating Andy low and trying to get him out. Madeline tries to get Tira on a girls' alliance. And so Tira's like, well, what did Andy do? Madeline says that Andy made it clear that Kevin would always come first. Then everyone has to rate each other, and when everyone's finished, they get another alert later that night with the results. So it goes from first to seventh. So this is how the ratings go. 1 is Madeline, 2 is Rachel, 3 is Jadeja, 4 is Garrett, 5 is Gianna, 6 is Darren, and um, obviously it kind of ends right there on who would be last. So we go into episode 7, Dawn of the Circle Dead, and it's revealed that Andy is blocked. Andy then, well, first Rachel and Madeline get their original profiles back, and it's said that they must keep their disruption a secret from everyone. I assumed that meant even people who were blocked. Um, but apparently, when Heather goes to meet Madeline reveals that she has been playing Rachel the past 2 days, while Rachel's been playing her. So I guess that only applies to people who are actively still in the circle. Maybe they should explain that, because I assumed when they say everyone, they mean everyone, even people who are just freshly blocked. So the next morning, everyone watches Heather's video, and goes to the chat afterwards. Rachel asks for any information, and Rachel says that Andy said someone was being disloyal, but won't say who. Clearly a lie. Yeah, that was a lie. That was a lie. What Andy did say was that she says she felt like the person behind her blocking was Gianna. But Madeline didn't correct her, saying that she was behind it all because she felt bad for having orchestrated this whole entire thing, especially now that, Andy, aka Heather, told her that she would still rate Madeline high. Everyone then is like, who said it, or who is it? And she insists on keep saying, well, he didn't say who, but alludes that it's either Kevin or Darian. And this is where it's like, you kind of have to be smart about this. And if you won't say names, people are going to look at you weird. And that's exactly what happened in this episode. People were looking at you weird. And this is where, the whole the reason for disliking someone and not really trusting someone is valid, because you can't just put out there. I mean, if you're gonna make up a lie, I mean, it's one thing if that's what actually happened, but it's not what happened. So you can't just say, well, she said this, but didn't really give much, and then you kind of have to give a little something, otherwise people are not going to believe it, and you didn't do that. So later that day, Kevin starts a conversation with Madeline, and he thinks that Jadeja and Darian are too powerful, and says, and Madeline makes up a lie that Andy told her that Darian was planning on breaking Kevin low to save his circle wife and her alliances. So Kevin is in on getting Darian out. So she says getting the alliances on the same page to get him out. Jadeja invites Garrett, Darian, and Gianna to a group chat, and they all think Madeline lied to a circle that morning. And I'm like, so I mean, this is where I was like talking about earlier about how, this is what I mean by distrusting someone like for a real reason because if something doesn't make sense, actual sense, and more than two people agree that it doesn't make sense, like what the person said doesn't make sense, then I can get behind it. But with Kevin, Gianna, and Rachel, from what we saw between episodes 1 and end of episode 3, when Kevin and Gianna were influencers, we didn't see anything about, as far as I'm concerned, we didn't see anything that Kevin said that was a reason for not trusting him. There was nothing from what I could see that would make mean not trusting him and having such, to me, vitriol in your voice for not for him. So it's not saying that they have like the Deja, Garrett, Darren, and Gianna have vitriol for Kevin or for Madeline, sorry, but they're all making a valid point. um, Now, if maybe Madeline hadn't been so vague and actually created this lie about Darian in like a private, or cast suspicion on Darian in like a private chat away from everyone else, that would I might be more okay with her having created this lie, but she didn't do that. She created this vague lie that kind of points to Darian or Kevin, and the only reason why she put sort of put this lie on Darian is because Kevin was the one who came to her and asked her, you know, what was this all about? As opposed to either Darian or somebody else. Because if Darian had come to her, she would either have spun it to Kevin or just try to drop it or something. I don't know. But or if it was somebody else who had come to her trying to clarify, she either would have put it on one person or still kept it vague. So yeah, I don't know. That is the dumb thing that I think. I mean, because I think up until now, up until that point, she was fine. So yeah, I don't know. Tara then starts a group chat with Madeline and Rachel. So she's asking ladies who is on the hit list. Rachel says that Kevin isn't much of a threat now that one of his allies is gone. She thinks Darian deflects too much, or potentially he is on the list. Rachel feeds into Madeline's lies by saying he was playing with both Gianna and Jadeja, and they're all locked in on taking Darian out next. The circle then tells everyone later that night that the apocalypse is there with the zombie pep rally party. And during the party, everyone is told they have to rate each other. After ratings, they are then given the chance to activate destructive mode again. Everyone but Gianna tries to disrupt. But it's Darian who is fastest to say he wanted to disrupt, so he gets that opportunity to disrupt. With the ratings now coming in, they are told that the top rated player will become the first influencer, and the second influencer will be chosen by the person who is the disruptor, aka Darian. So, like I said, I haven't watched episode 8 yet. I've only watched episodes 5, 6, and 7. I will watch 8, 9, and 10 today, and then get that video out the next day or two. And then, like I said, I'm going to wait until episode 13 um, drops on Wednesday, and then I will um, watch episodes 11, 12, and 13. So that way I can drop all three at once. With that, I will be back shortly with the next batch of episodes. And I want y'all to let me know what y'all think of these 3 episodes so far. No spoilers until I at least get the next video up, please. But like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in another video.